Well, I guess I said simply way too much on my last video. From now on, I'm not saying simply anymore, but I have another half of the binder, and this binder is really heavy, so let's do this. So, mostly this is basically duplicates of them. Well, basically major redesigns because I didn't like them. Well, I have the redesign for the 2001 depot. Well, basically there's gonna be two depots that you come across. The one that almost looks a lot like the 2001 depot and the 2002 depot. And I do have a raising the bar on ebook, and I'll be comparing them. Well, I only had like a few concept art back then. Well, I did start accessing to the raising the bar concept art. Okay. Here is that bridge in the Raising the Bar book, and you can see of how similar I was trying to go with my concept art. I may have to start holding my camera in my hand. Here's the bridge, well, the bridge area that I designed. Here's what Valve made. You can kind of see some similarities, and there were many revisions in, well, my folder. Here's another one. Well, only two of them, and I decided to go for more combine look, but as you can see, well, in my green folder, well, it's in my book bag, so went for a major redesign, and then the green folder, it's actually gonna be the final design, either you like it or not. Well, it's not gonna be those two. Here's another train station. Not looking a lot like the one from the beta. The first ever Black Mesa South, or I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it yet. But it's basically like a Black Mesa East kind of. Well, like the beta version of Eli's Den, but there is a character of Eli Max. Well, I'm one of the characters for Half-Life 3, but I'm gonna just name this to a different name, so that way it doesn't sound like, well, that this is Vance's den, because we all know he died. One of the city, well, a city 3D, well, this is how the city interior will look like. Well, what it used to look like, with half of it the American. Sorry, my grandma just wanted to say goodnight. Oh, and I forgot, Happy Easter, everyone. Completely forgot about that. Well, the city was originally going to be half normal style buildings and half combine built buildings, but I decided to change it and have it like in the middle, like there's combine buildings and regular buildings. Of course, we get to the Terminal Plaza, which will have a major redesign. Actually, I don't think that the Terminal Plaza doesn't even exist anymore in my story. But the player was to come across this industrial plaza. And of course, there was a train station right over there. It has that top screen like the beta, but doesn't have the large pit, and goes through many redesigns. Number one, but except the industrial buildings are built inside the original broken buildings from the 7-Hour War, and one of the original buildings right here, well, the only thing that in this version is what's left of it is this little piece right here. And here's another major redesign. And now, but going for more that beta style. With the huge, well, with the catwalk above here, that's kind of supposed to represent the, I think, from the E3 terminal. I think it was that kind of lift or something. I forgot what its name was. But that's kind of a, I forgot the word, but it's taking that into that. Like, that's a reference from that. And I just realized that was the word. Of course, we still have that third building broken. Then we get to that. Then we get to the factory area from E3 Industrial. I try to make the back area like the windows on the top from when you look into the factory. And most of these are just mist. Like, this was another wasteland area. Well, this was basically a town in the skybox. Well, a city in the skybox. But it wasn't to play a much bigger role into the story. It wasn't. So it was cut. And I finally found out which era, well, when I started making concept art. I think it was around 2015 when it started. Like, late 2015, like, near the end of the year when I was in, like, 6th grade. And here was the Wasteland train crash. It was simply, this is, well, I heard about that the train that you take on crashes near air chutes, so I wanted to crash, like, through the wall. But that was completely redesigned, and having the train just crash, like, a few miles away from it. And here's another, well, concept art of air exchange. Here's the Combine guard gun, which I was trying to redesign, but failed. A design of Combine train that I really don't want to talk about. And I made my own personalized, well, of the Combine overworld. And of course, I did watch a lot of Transformers, so it kind of looks almost like Cybertron, but it does not. And I made, like, this area. Remember that? Well, the portal at the end of Half-Life 2, those spires, that's the area where the spires were in the Combine overworld. Original poster, which I regret making. And yes, it was... I'm so embarrassed. You know what? Never mind this. Another version of Air Exchange, but instead of being... Well, there's, like, broken down buildings near it. Another picture that I don't want to talk about. Another wasteland town, which was actually an early version of my version of Quarrytown, but I never heard of it, so it was just going to be called Town. I forgot the name. It's been that long. The Citadel. Zen. Well, the Zen, well, planet. And not to believe it, Zen was going to be in my version of Half-Life 3. Like, at the very start, Gmail is going to place you in some sort of combine facility and stasis, and the Oregons would, like, get you out there and escape with you to City 29, and you would be on the Hyperboreal. Well, it was cut and just completely scrapped. There's nothing left of it. The inner city, well, it's actually heavily based on the concept art. Now, as you take a quick close at the concept art and take a close look at this, as you can see, it's kind of heavily based off that one concept art. Continuing, the posters that, well, different citadels that were designed for it. This one unused, and that one referencing the original one. And here's that one picture of the unused citadel. It's based off that. I think the other one at E3 Terminal. And here's a citadel that I regret even drawing because of that skeleton kind of ish area over there. Then we move on to the depot. Well, the other depot the player was going to come across. And for this one, I didn't have a concept art. I only have one of the, like, proto depot from Gary's mod, from that one map mod, and if you dare say the other one, well, that complete WC map pack, yeah, it's broken. It uses the broken maps. I think the creator should have used the fixed maps and should have ported over the textures to Gary's mod, and he did say he can't. Well, the other one had a mod to go along with it that had the textures ported in. Yeah, really funny. Of course, it was based, well, I forgot what I was going to say. Back to the depot. Here was, well, the first drawing of that depot. It's kind of messy. That's why I kept going through major redesigns. I wanted, like, a huge combine, like, gunship bay or something. Yes, and I did hear the gunship bay and these little things right here. I only had access to, like, this concept art, and, well, I think that was the only one I had access to. Or one of them that's based off of it. No way, I did have this concept art as well, but I completely was oblivious and did not add the prison area. And here's the other version of the depot. Still has that combine outbase over it, and here's the actual first one with a gunship and one of those scanner, well, one of the original, I think the first 2002 or 2001 dropship. Here was another depot the player would come across. There was actually supposed to be 3, but it was narrowed back down to 2. The other, well, area of the fully fledged city, and now we come to the era that's getting way, way close to, well, basically the eras right now. This is where the first idea that the player was going to start in the Hyperboreal, and here is City 9, well, my version, instead of Hunt Down the Freeman. It's actually more of a depot, and its citadel is based off the, I'm not sure, the citadel that had, like, that depots around it. Yeah, that one. Player, well, I actually wanted this to be the actual City 9, an actual city instead of just like this brush base outpost. These cannons that strike you down from the sky. No, this is my version of City 9, and you're gonna have to deal with it. I'm Tom the Freeman Crew, and your game is not canon. And of course, here is the Hyperboreal. I decided to go for a combine, well, like, from the beta of the Borealis, or the original name Hyperboreal, was to have combine installments, and I wanted to have some on the outside instead of, like, mostly on the inside. Here's another air exchange factories. A picture that I regret about. The skybox, for when the player, like, escapes to air exchange. The broken, air exchange broken. I think this is supposed to be a city. That's the wall that goes across basically half of the earth. And here's that depot that I was talking about earlier. Well, that city that I was talking about earlier. That was supposed to be in the skybox, and that's how much significance it had. And here we go to weather control. Half-Life 4 or Half-Life 5 this was going to be. And Half-Life 4 was just going to finish off the previous, like, it left off when the train crashed in Half-Life 3, but it was completely changed to just having an end when you escape the Citadel and it finally, like, breaks down. And I don't know how the game's gonna end. Well, my version. Actually, another picture that I don't want to talk about. And this maybe have to be in 3 parts, not the, I think. Another air exchange picture, another air exchange picture. And this is getting really, really close. This one is right close to the new one. The one that actually is going to be in the game. This is based off of concept art. I'm not going to look for that. Another weather control. The Citadel interior for that other one that had the skeleton bit on the bottom. That was supposed to be like the advisor area, proto-advisor from Half-Life 2 beta. The underneath of the Citadel. One of the interiors of the Citadel. Another man hack. Well, it was supposed to have... It's supposed to have the blade like... Well, it's supposed to be like the machine like this and the blade in the front instead of being on the side. Yep, this is what it's going for. My version of the gravity gun or fizz gun. Fizz gun has been narrowed down a bit. More guns I don't want to talk about. Combine alien soldiers, which I don't want to talk about, which are bad. Some Striders and 1 gunship. The resistance sniper rifle, or more of the crossbow. Air exchange core. The City 9 Citadel, another redesign, and the airboat and truck. But you can see it was more of a wasteland vehicle from Mad Max, and it was just cut down more of a Lego standardized Jeep, and that's it. We just completely finished the whole cut content folder. I really hope that you like this and were satisfied. Please tell me that I said a word too much, like one word too much, and I would make sure not to say that way too much again, just how I said simply in the last one. Have a happy Easter. Goodbye, everyone.